Hey Silkies, I'm back again and we're doing the second video. If you haven't seen the first video, you can go check it out. It's about the history of Goth, like the actual history of Goth. But this one we're going to be talking about more of the modern Goth alternative scene. I'm doing a blind react as I did with the other video. So you can check that out or you can just go ahead and watch this one. And this one is called Should You Fit In or Should You Stand Out? And I'm assuming they're talking about the alternative culture. So I'm really interested in watching this. And if you want to check out the video for yourself, I will leave the link down below. All right, let's get started. So it looks like we're looking at the alternative scene in the UK, which Goth is very popular over there. The alternative scene is very popular over there. It's popular over here too, but all right, let's get started. This one's about 9 minutes and 24 seconds, so I'm going to be making commentary throughout the whole thing. If you want to watch it without the commentary, you feel free to do it. But if you want to hear my commentary, keep watching.
It's an age-old problem. Do you dress to blend in with the crowd or to stand out?
Stand out.
If you choose to stand out, you can get a lot of hostile reactions from conventional people.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, most of them, they just look at us because, I mean, they sort of, they just can't take it. It blows their tiny little minds to something different, you know. They ain't got the ability to sort of change themselves, and so they just sort of, you know, it just blows their mind. They ban us fine.
I'm going to actually turn the captions on because I thought they were on. So, yeah, there we go.
Every pub down here we're not allowed. Every pub in Kingsford.
Yeah, this is very punk.
You know, in the marquee, all round Sorrow, every pub down there nearly. Why is that? I don't know.
Like the thing we call
I just got chucked out of Chelsea drugstore.
Yeah, that's the word. Wait, get this one. Get this one. They think we cause trouble.
Yeah, that's actually very true. Like, you look the way you do, like we do, alternative, goth, whatever, you know, just alternative in general. People stare, and a lot of them just assume you're troublemakers, and that's not true. Some of us just want to mind our business and do what we came to do, not cause any trouble. It's a terrible stereotype. This one's definitely done back in the past. Looks like the 80s. Yeah, looks like about the 80s. So it was less acceptable back then.
People passing by see these sort of people and they won't come in the pub. I mean, the other is just colourful. That's a bit, to me, I'm talking about my own personal opinion, is outrageous. And they're usually like in torn old clothes and, you know, dirty old shoes and crap. And it's not a very nice element to have in your pub. So I went out there.
That's not necessarily true.
If I go in and somebody annoys me in the pub, I'm going to annoy them back. And if they get violent, I can get violent as well, you know what I mean?
Well, I don't have these Mohican, you know, the spiky tops. I don't have skinheads, which you see there's a few crips in there, but they won't be there very much longer. You get a crowd of them and they're into, they usually wind up with violence, you know, and...
I'm not a fan of the skinheads in the scene because they're typically, I don't think anyone's really a fan of skinheads except skinheads, so they're typically like racist from my understanding. I actually think someone once told me that they're not all racist, but there has been a racist skinhead movement and they were strongly associated with Nazi symbols, so.
But the others, most of these punk kids now are not really punkies anymore. And they're all basically nice boys and girls, you know, and when you've been in this business a long time, you can usually suss out who's who. It's really that simple.
Most people would
make up
agree
your mind, dude.
Gina looks like a nice girl, but she's about to change all that.
She's about to change all that. Oh.
Anti-fashion or alternative fashion.
Oh boy, the locks.
To judge the way people reacted to me, and by that way see if I was interested in knowing them.
Okay, she's getting a complete makeover here.
It was a very good way to find that you only meet tolerant people straight away. Anyone who's totally intolerant is just not going to be interested in talking to you. And also,
yeah, you'll find out a lot.
Going to nightclubs and dealing with men, it certainly screened out any man that seemed to be just interested to me as a sexual figure. You had to also be interested.
Now, I wouldn't say that because going to like goth night clubs as a goth, like goth clubs, you still get seen as a sexual figure. But I know this is a different time, but you still get sexualized as a goth. Not just the women either. It's mostly the women, but the men get sexualized as well.
Interested in me as a person because I didn't look just like a pretty girl.
I mean, to me personally, she still looks pretty. Like, I like that style on her, but that's because I'm who I
You
am.
might realize someone is trying to make a statement, but it's not fair of you to judge what that statement is without asking them.
These people are worried about how they might be judged by the way they look.
They're pretty normal looking.
Academy of Modeling. They're here to learn how to dress for job interviews. A real problem now that jobs are scarce.
But I want you to start thinking now about the first impression you get from people when you first see them.
If I rolled up to a job interview wearing just exactly what I'd like to wear, there's no way I'd ever get a job. Simple as that.
Job discrimination is still very prevalent now, but you can get in a lot of trouble for that.
One thing I'll mention at the moment is earrings on girls. She looks very nice wearing her 2 different earrings with her casual look, but as she said, she wouldn't wear that for an interview, and I wouldn't wear 2 different earrings. One big one.
I like the earrings though.
One earring. It could put an awful lot of employers off. Grey, yeah, I would tend to.
Okay, so I thought this was more about goths or alternative people. Yeah, I said 80s, and I totally just skipped over the fact that this says 1983, so this is closer to the 70s. Apparently it's not, so I'm going to skim through this because I'm not going to watch the whole thing if it's not about the alternative scene. More than welcome to just watch that part, but like that's not something I'm willing to cover. So let me see. We're going to skip to the girl with the look change. Okay, we're back to her.
Times when I've looked for a job that I purposely toned down, not just my hair, but my whole style of dress. But
have you, as an alternative person, had to do that? Had to tone yourself down for job interviews? I've done that as well in the past, but like the stuff that I do now, I don't have to worry about that. Like, my last boss was pierced, and I'm like, times have changed, you know? People are pierced and tatted, but I guess like back then it was a lot harder. I'm not saying people don't still discriminate now with jobs, but yeah, this is something that's a big problem.
once you get the job and prove you can work at it, then you should be given free reign within that. And
Yeah,
if
I
at that
agree.
stage I'm told to stop dyeing my hair different colors or something, I'd rather leave. Because I'm just doing
Same.
waitressing jobs. It's not my whole life, my work. So it's much more important to me that I can look the way I want to.
Like, I totally feel that. Like, you should be able to look the way you want to. I mean, once you get, like, the first impressions out the way and you tone down or whatever for your job interview, then you should be able to dye your hair and dress whatever, you know, later. It also depends on the type of job you're doing. I've never seen a goth lawyer. I've never seen an alternative lawyer. I've seen an alternative psychologist that was a male, and that's the only one I've seen in my life, besides me being how I am and being interested in psychology. I've seen tatted doctors. I've seen some cops with tattoos and stuff like that. It look, you know, different, but they mostly have it covered when they're working. But yeah, like, how was your experience as an alternative person and with your job and your career in life? I guess it really, yeah, like I said, it depends on what you're doing. Like, if you're doing like something she's doing, it won't really matter, like being a waitress. I've seen someone work at a gym and they've had like colorful hair and piercings and everything like that. So it just really depends on what you're doing, I think, for there to be a level of acceptance in the jobs that you're doing. Like working in a funeral home and you're goth, I don't think people will really pay attention to that. But yeah, just some examples I wanted to talk about, but I'm going to go ahead and watch the rest of the video.
Decoration.
Yep.
As humans, I mean, there's no reason why we don't just all walk around wearing the same dark grey jumpsuits and never do anything with your hair or face or anything and live in cubes with a bed in it. We don't exist just for comfort alone. We all like looking at things.
True, that's true.
Like the Camden Palace, you can see every style, ranging from satin to sackcloth, from rubber to rasta. But you can't always tell.
Love that look though. I love this look. Death Rocker.
I'm still a servant. Our little department's sort of known as the Deviants Corner, because no one's really what you'd expect an office worker to look like.
If people talk to me, they realise that I'm not what I seem. And also, once you smile at people, little old ladies will look at you and they'll think, oh God, she's going to beat me out. And then if you smile at them, they'll be really sweet and they'll come over and congratulate you and tell you look nice.
I get on really well with Gladys. Yeah. It's one of my best people to talk.
Actually, that's happened to me before. A long time ago, when I didn't live here, I lived somewhere else. But I was with my gothic partner, and we had this old lady who just looked, country. She had a big, country, like really country. Like she had the Dolly Parton hair, and she wore her makeup. She was elder, and she absolutely loved that we were so different and we weren't afraid to express ourselves, and we were just this gothic couple doing basic shopping, and just we were really nice, and she was just like, oh, you two are the nicest people, and she was really nice to us, and she's like, it's so awesome that you two dress up and aren't afraid of being who you are. This is what it reminds me of, what they're talking about. So I guess this is pretty common. I guess it is pretty common.
And then when you do go up and you smile at them, and they obviously realise that in that smile there's no malice, and you are quite pleasant really, and it's their illusion shattered.
Yeah, breaking stereotypes.
Disco, you can be a bank clerk by day and a buccaneer by night. But for someone like Steve Strange, dressing up isn't just fun, it's a career in itself.
I think
Steve Strange. Interesting name.
Fashion is very fickle. A person that's got style is very clever, because style and fashion are two different things. A person that's got style is somebody that can put whatever they like on, with the way they walk, with the way they talk, and the way that they sort of act, or with the way that they become themselves with whatever they're wearing. To carry it off is very clever, because style is something that you can't buy. Fashion is. You can buy it in any shop.
Oh, style isn't something you could buy. You can't buy fashion. Personally, I think they're the same, but I get what he's saying.
Where Steve leads, the kids follow, or enough of them to make it pay. He's accepted as a style leader, but he wanted to look unusual even before he was paid for it.
When I was 13, 14, I used to have bright orange hair at school, and I was banned from school from having bright orange hair.
Yeah, people get paid for that now. Social media exists, so a lot of people get paid for looking different nowadays. So this isn't too uncommon now, but I guess this was really interesting back in the 80s.
And my mom turned around and said, well, what does bright orange hair have to do with his education? It's not affecting it in any way. It was
he had an awesome mom.
Because the kids at school, because I didn't get on with them. Well, they just thought I was some weirdo, but that was what it was all about. It was to say, well, here I am, I am a weirdo, my hair's bright orange, so I'm here.
It says I am weed in the captions.
For the rest of us, looking unusual is a gamble that can cost you your job, get you banned from pubs, or at the very least, get you singled out as an oddity.
Yeah, I know.
I like it very much.
She looks good both ways, honestly.
But then it's always really easy to like extreme cuts in the atmosphere of an extreme hair salon. I'm not quite so sure about it once I start walking down the street.
Oh, we'll find out, I guess, if they show that. Yeah, it's different. It is different. Looking in the mirror and just saying, yeah, I look great, but going out in the street and dealing with people. I know most alternative people know what I'm talking about, if not all. You're dealing with people, that's a different story. But it does take some level of bravery to go out there and just be yourself, to be honest.
Drawn right at the top.
Absolutely awful.
Yeah.
Well, I just think it looks rubbish. It's the only answer for it.
Wow.
She's a very attractive girl. I mean, you know.
I think she looks good.
It's terrible. It's absolutely.
I'm a bit conservative, Rin, I'm afraid.
Why?
Just always have been, you know. Sorry.
I don't feel I'm part of the normal run-of-the-mill rat race. I don't want to be, put it like that.
You know, this style is still very popular now with these two, especially his. All right, that's all I have for today. What did you think about the video? Did you enjoy it? And could you relate to some of those things that happened? And if you're not goth or alternative and dress outwardly so in public, what do you think about that? Would that be something you would do? Would that be something that you would try to do? But thank you for watching. As always, like and subscribe for more videos.